We got the MVP race coming to an end. Week 8 in the books. Playoff time. Here we go. And the league's pretty even. Let's figure out why it's so even and if it's good for the league. Coming up here on Record. Hey, Jalen, hit that intro. All right, I'd like to welcome to the show for the first time this season, the GM of the Liberty, Mr. Jalen.myers. What's going on, Mr. Myers?
Just living life.
How you doing today, man? You doing all right?
Doing good.
Yeah? Week 8's over. On to the playoffs. You excited?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Got a lot to look forward to, a lot to prove.
Yeah, I think we're coming together.
Yeah.
Coming together definitely, when we should, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you need to have it all together is by the end of week 8. Finally seems like you got it going, so looking forward to what you do in the playoffs, you and Josh and the rest of the Liberty. You had I want to talk a little bit about last week, some of the games. I want to start off with your game. You played the Mustangs at 7 o'clock. Pretty close. I mean, the Mustangs are a good team. They ended up dropping to you guys 83-92. We had Tim Harris, who got traded to the Mustangs, had a hell of a game. 26 points, 8 rebounds. But you yourself, not to be outdone. You had 37 points, 16 boards, 9 assists, so close to that triple-double. You shot 67%. You only shot the ball 2 times within the 3-point line, and you didn't make one of them. Or you're outside of the 3-point line, and you didn't make one of them. So all your points coming from inside. That's how you work a lot of the times. It's beautiful to watch. You did have someone step up big time for you, though, on Liberty. Kind of helped you out there. Braden Moon with a hell of a game. He shot 6 of 9 from 3. Yeah,
man, he had a great game. And that's the thing, I've known him for a long time, so I've always known that's the type of player he is. So I think for him, he just really had to get into rhythm, get comfortable, and kind of find, just the right spots to play with us. And I think that game, I mean, you definitely saw that. It was, that's the type of player he is. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So is that something that you think we can expect from Braden going forward? Is something a little bit more consistent? And I think that's kind of where the Liberty kind of fall off is their consistency. You don't know what to expect from them game to game. So is that someone you can kind of count on going into the playoffs?
I would say so. Yeah. Like I said, I think it was just for him. I thought it was just getting comfortable, knowing where to be, and I feel really everybody on the team, if you go back and watch the games, I feel like every week we're getting better at something, or someone's getting better at something. And I thought that last week that was the best game that we played as a team. Yeah. I thought just everyone just played well. I think, and we could still get better, but we know exactly what those things are. And I mean, especially Braden, he obviously had a great game. He knows exactly what his role, is on the team. And I think when you have 8 guys that all know exactly what their role is, those are, I think that's what makes a great team.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the Mustangs, they finished 4-4. Michael Flipsy at the helm. Yeah. What do you have to say about the Mustangs? They played a pretty good game against you.
Yeah. I think we should have beat them twice. But, no, they're a good team. They're a good team. Mike's a great player. I know they didn't have Matt, and he's another, he's a great shooter. The first time we played him, I think he had 4 or 5 threes. So, but, I mean, that's just one of the things about this league is, every week, you might have 5 guys, you might have 6 guys, but,
right.
It's you really can't use that excuse because, I mean, that happens to – it happens every week. So I
mean, former Niners were short players last week too. So
yeah, we've been short.
Yeah. So. The first game that was on the slate for Week 8 was the Pistons and the Lions. Probably one of the best games of the season. Going into the game, the Lions did hold firm control. The Lions ended up winning 93-82. Ben Cameron had 14 points, 17 boards. He's really showed up this last half of the season. Jake Schmeltz, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, who is one of the top runners for MVP. Dallas Kiefer, again, with another really good game, 20 points. He's another 20-point game. I know he had a couple this season, so he's really coming to light this season. And what do you see between the two top teams that played off at 5 o'clock? What do you think the expectations are for them going into the playoffs?
Well, first of all, I don't think that they're the top two teams, but anyway. So
statistically, they are.
But
they're at the top of the seeds. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fine. But I don't know. That was kind of surprising to me, honestly. I thought that, they're both really good teams. I think. I don't know. You could see the Pistons really start to climb back, towards the end. But I think we kind of got there late, but it was just it didn't look like the Pistons that you normally see.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like they just kind of got away from who they really are, what they do.
So you think the loss was more on the Pistons than the win was more on the Lions?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's not taking away anything from the Lions because they're a great team, and that's one of the things that they do best is that they're always consistent. They all move the ball. They play great as a team. So it's you're never gonna see anything like that from the Lions. Just because and half those guys have been playing together for 3 or 4 seasons in the LBL, but they all know each other. There's five Eastwood guys on the team.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both still threats. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I love the Lions, man. They're looking good.
Yeah,
they're definitely looking good.
Yeah, we know.
Then to wrap it all up, we had the 419ers and Vandals. I'm not going to touch on that too much, just because the 419ers were short quite a few guys.
They had 4, right?
They had 4, and one of them weren't even drafted. It was a sub. So, technically they're playing with 3 of their players.
Mm-hmm.
They did end up falling to the Vandals 53-79. Dylan Davis had an 11.9 rebound, 9 assist game. So he had a pretty good game himself. And a Rookie of the Year candidate, Orenstein Anaiwu, I believe his name is, something like that. He goes by Goose, 25 points, 13 rebounds. So he had a pretty decent game. The Wolves ended up keeping the Kings at a unperfect 0-8. They were close though. The Kings, they were giving them a good rough game there, and they ended up coming back at the end. Caden Blanco, who is another Rookie of the Year candidate, Rookie of the Season candidate, had 19 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. Jay Hanna had 29 points. So they definitely put up a pretty good effort. But Alec Gregg, probably the leading Rookie of the Year candidate right now. He had 39 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists to go along with Michael Bennett's 21 points, 12 rebounds, and who I thought originally was going to win the MVP at the beginning of the season. Me and him had talked about that. He knows I'm a little disappointed. But, he's still in the running. I'm excited to see how many votes he'll get in the MVP race. But I know you were really high on the Wolves at the beginning of the season. They ended up finishing, I believe, 4-4. 3-5. They ended up finishing 3-5. That's pretty disappointing, considering we had high hopes for them, especially you. What do you think they're going to need to do to, hopefully live up to expectations going on into the playoffs?
I think, for them, probably their biggest thing is I think they just got to play defense. They have 5 or 6 guys that can all score. Everyone's a threat, but I think Tyler kind of alluded to it when he was on. It's I think they might score the most points in the league, but they give up the most points also.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still wouldn't even, I wouldn't count them out either. They have a lot of people who are threats who can score the ball. We played them, and I think that might have been the overtime game. It was a close game, but I don't know. They made some trades. I thought that.
They actually made the most trades in the league. They made 3 trades.
Yeah.
In the league this season.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they're out of it though, but.
Okay.
Yeah. They got to play D. I think that's their thing.
Yeah. And it sucks, to see the Kings couldn't pull off a win. I was really pulling for them this season. But so that was week 8. Going into the playoffs, week 1, at 5 o'clock we have the Pistons and the Wolves. We have the Lions and the Kings at 6. At 7 we have the 419ers and the Mustangs. And then at 8 o'clock we have the Liberty and the Vandals. Now, we can get to Liberty and Vandals last, but Pistons are projected to win by 5.4 points. Now, Pistons
over who?
Over the Wolves.
Okay.
Pistons and the Wolves. I think it's going to end up being either the Pistons and the Lions eventually, but I think the Pistons will make it to the finals. They have a pretty easy path, I think, especially if they beat the Wolves. So, what do you think about that game?
Pistons
Wolves.
Yeah, I think I would take the Pistons definitely.
Yeah.
I just think, man, they're just a tough team. Like they can all they all play defense, and especially with Thurman, I feel like they just fit really well together. I think the last game that they lost, I think that was probably a fluke game. They're tough. They're tough. You can't count them out. And I mean,
how much credit do you give Martin Glasper for keeping that team intact, not really moving any pieces around, and really building that team chemistry? Because that's one thing I've noticed. The 2 top teams made no trades, no acquisitions. They've kept their core. They've gotten to play with each other. They haven't given up on each other, and they sit atop the rankings. Yeah. So,
oh yeah, no, that's huge, and a lot of that definitely is on Tan. Because if you look, he's the leader of the team. He's the best player on the team, and when your best player comes out with that kind of intensity, and is loud
every game.
And he's like getting into it, getting into people that just carries through. So if your leader if you see your leader, your best player, playing like that, it just it carries through, and everyone else, I think that makes everyone else want to play like that much harder. So I think a lot of it's definitely on him for sure.
All right, yeah, I definitely would take that spread, Pistons by 5.4. The next game we have the Lions and the Kings. Wish the Kings luck. I wish the Kings luck. The Lions are a super tough team. Jake in the running for MVP. You had Ben Cameron putting up. I think he's averaging a double-double right now. Jordan Fakosh has been on a tear as of late, and then you have 2 really good defenders in Jared Schwiefer and Jacob Fakosh. Yeah, you have 2 really great defenders that can definitely help out that team when you're going against someone like you two. You have Jalen and yourself and Josh, and you're able to put those 2 players on them. It kind of helps out. What do you think about that 10.5 spread that is given to the Lions?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd probably pick and win, but you never know. You never know. There's no series.
Wouldn't that be something? Kings
it would, but if you look at it though, Kings have. I feel like they've been in a lot more games than we think.
Yeah.
They have. Say Caden hits. I think maybe one of the first weeks he had 7, 8 threes, something, or something like that.
I think the first week.
Yeah, and so, hey, he gets hot. I think Jay Hanna put up. He had a great game last week. Dylan's 10th all time.
Yeah, Jay Hanna had 29 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists last game.
Yeah,
so.
Dylan can score. Dom's a good player. So and Claude, I'm just saying, you don't know. They could get hot.
Yeah,
they could get hot.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Who knows?
It'd be fun to see the Kings knock off the Lions for sure. That would be something crazy. Then at 7 o'clock game, we have the shorthanded 419ers versus the team you just defeated week 8 against the Mustangs.
The shorthanded?
I feel like every week they're kind of struggling. And I know Matt Ayers has really tried to get his team all there together as much as he can, but that just comes with that's just part of it. You you got to know who you're drafting, who's reliable. That's all part of, being a GM is taking the people who may be there, maybe who aren't even as good, but they're reliable, they're going to be there every week. So it's a give and take, and a lot of that is hard to do. Also, with all the new incoming players, you don't know who they are as much. You don't know what their tendencies tend to be. But they end up playing the Mustangs, and the 409ers are projected to win by 1.7 points. You think the Mustangs can upset them?
I mean, I wouldn't even say it was an upset, honestly.
No?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's just one of the things, this season is I feel like everyone, there's really no one team where you look at and it's just like, oh, man, So, I wouldn't even call it an upset if they won. I think they have I would say they have a good chance, honestly. I think Jake he's been playing against Malik for a while. I think he knows, he has a good idea of what to play with him. I kind of talked to him about that last week. And, yeah, you just never know. Tim could have a good – I mean, the Mustangs are a good team. And, I mean, they have, Mike can score, Jake can score. Tim's been putting up points. And then Spyak, as long as, if he's there, I mean, that's another great shooter, so –
I did have a quote here from Matt Ayers. I tried to, just get a little something out of him. He was supposed to be on the show today. He's got a big exam coming up, so good luck on that there, Matt guy. He said, quote, well, I asked him, do you have any comments on your first-round opponent, the Mustangs? He said simply, quote, they got 2 LBL veterans in Flipsy and Jake Schwiefert. They will play a good game. I think if we stick to our game and we play hard, we are a better team, and we will move on to the next round. So,
he's confident.
He is a confident guy. He, when you think of people who get amped up, excited to play the game, who get upset when things aren't going their ways, you think of Martin Glasper and you think of Matt Ayers. At least that's what I think of. Who I think of. He, again, brings that intensity every game. Whereas, the Mustangs, Mike Flipsy, he's kind of on the reserved end. I think he kind of shows his play rather than, speak it. So you got 2 different styles of coaching. And it's going to be a good, interesting game. Like you said, I don't know if it's even the 409ers should be the favorite. It's pretty even between the 2 teams, I think. Just 2 totally different play styles. So
yeah.
And then the final game, we have the Liberty and the Vandals. The Vandals knocked you guys off week 7. Yep. You are slated to win the game by 1 point. I don't think you see yourself losing against the Vandals 2 times in a row. What was the problem week 7, and can you fix it week 1 of the playoffs?
Yeah, we'll fix it. And I think, we've –
well, what are you fixing?
We played an awful game that game.
Yeah.
We had 5 players. And, I think – I mean, we have a game plan. I think, a few of us went back and watched that whole game. We watched a couple of Vandals game. I don't know. We know what we did wrong, I think, that game. We know exactly what we need to change, and I think.
What do you need to change?
You want me to just give you my game plan?
I got to ask the questions here. I got to press for the questions. That's my job.
Well, first of all, we won't have 5, so we'll have more than 5. So, but yeah, you'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, well, actually, we're gonna take a break real quick, and then we'll come back here shortly. All right, welcome back. So we left off given the overall picture of Week 8 and talked a little bit about the playoffs. I do want to move on now to the awards. We have the MVP award, the Defensive Player of the Season award, And this season we're also doing, since we have plenty of really good rookies, the Rookie of the Season award. Now I'm just going to give my front runners. This is not the front runner who we do have some votes in. The votes are going to be tallied Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. That's the deadline to put in your vote for MVP, Defensive Player of the Season, Rookie of the Season. All 8 GMs are voting, and then once it comes down, if there's a tie, I will be the tiebreaker. So, again, these are my front runners. And then next Friday on the next episode of On Record, I will release the final verdicts of all of them. But yeah, these are who I think, and I'm going to give top 3 in each one, and we'll just kind of go one by one, and I want to hear your thoughts as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think in the MVP race, as much as I hate to say it, I think you're definitely leading the pack. I think it's unquestionable. You have a career high in points per game this season, and 30 points per game. You have a career high in rebounds per game with 11. You average 5 assists, 2 steals, a block, and also a career high shooting 56% from the field. What a season you're having, man! It's remarkable. I mean, honestly, if I have to say one bad thing about one downside about your I don't know. I can't really put your team's 4-4. So that's really the only hash that I would have against your MVP vote. But yeah, man, what a season you're having! It's awesome watching you play every week. You give it your all, and it's amazing. But then right behind you, I'd give Jake Schmeltz, the second edge. 25 points, 4 boards, 3 assists. He's shooting a career average 47%, or he's shooting a career high 47% from the 3-point line. That's amazing, right? Dude can't miss when he's on, man. And he's scoring the highest points per game since season 2 when he was playing with the Wombats. So, and that was I think that was just a half a point more. Mm-hmm. So he's really tearing the league up this year. Again, I just think there's just such a discrepancy between 1 and 2 there. It's hard to overdo what you've done. And then Michael Bennett, he's had a pretty good season still. 19 points, 11 boards. That's what he's averaging this season. And he was my pick at the beginning, but you've came out here and proven why you're, I think, the MVP. So, what do you have to say about that? Anything?
I mean, I would just say that, the only reason I'm having such a great season, honestly, is just the team, the team I have this season. I mean, not knocking anyone from last season, but, you can go back and look at the numbers from last season. Personally, I was playing completely differently. So I think just with my team this season, it's man, I got just great players around me, so they all know, how I play and I mean, it's just fun playing with them. It's just fun playing with them. I feel like they help me get in the right spots, and everyone trusts each other. So I mean, I would say that's the biggest reason why I'm playing the way I'm playing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you a tough question here. I would like for you to answer it. You may not, but if you take yourself out of the equation, who would you vote for MVP?
Who would I vote?
Yeah, if you took yourself out of the equation, who's your biggest competitor in the MVP race?
Josh Williams.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. I didn't think you were going to say that. That's really interesting. Why do you say Josh Williams?
Well, every season that he's played in, it was either I was the MVP or he was the MVP.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about now we're talking about season 6 MVP.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying if I wasn't on if I wasn't in the equation, if I was in the equation, I think Josh would be MVP.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He averages. I don't know exactly what he averages. I do have it here. Hold on. Give me 1 second. He averages 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 assists, or 3 assists, 2 steals. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So let's move on to the defensive player of the season. Again, man, you might be the first one to win both MVP and defensive player of the season. I think it's hard to dispute you there too. You've won both defensive player of the season and MVP, just not in the same year or season. So if you end up pulling that off, that'd be really interesting. But you're averaging 2 steals and a block a game. But that really doesn't even tell the whole story. Man, the way you get at it, it's pretty fun to watch. Lanky arms, you know, you can go up against pretty much anyone. You can probably guard 1 through 4. The only person you may really have trouble with would be people like Kyle Artino or Malik. You know, they're just bigger bodies. But, you know, your arms make up for it. So we got Adam Bevier, I think, in the second spot. He has 3 steals right now. He's averaging 3 steals. That's pretty amazing. You know, quick with his hands, good post defender. He's smart, knows where to be, knows where to put his body. I think Jared Schwiefert at number 3. I think a lot of people underestimate what he brings to the table, especially defensively. And I think he's a big reason why that Lions team is doing hot. And then I do want to also mention, which is interchangeable between 3 and 4, I think, with Thurman. Again, that he holds down that he anchors that defense on the Pistons. And the best thing, I know it's not necessarily defensively, but when he gets those defensive rebounds, you know, he's looking to make a big play out of that. So that's really awesome for Thurman to see from Thurman. What do you think about those my headliners there for defensive player of the season? You agree with that? You think Jalen should be up there?
Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I would put Josh in there too. I mean, I don't know.
Oof.
I mean, not even top 4. I feel like.
Oof.
I mean, Jared. You know, no disrespect to Jared, but I mean, I don't know. To me, Josh is up there. You know, and I feel like.
I just feel
what
like
are you looking at? You
people
looking at
are always
or?
like numbers, and nothing against Josh. He's a good player. I just feel like when you guys had troubles, especially against a specific player, Josh was guarding him. So I think I don't know. I don't see Josh being up there in the defensive player of the season.
That's but who, you know, who on that list? Who are they guarding?
Well, I mean, these are, you know, you have Jared Schwiefert, who's, you know, guarding probably one of you two, or one of the guards. You know, Thurman would be guarding someone like Adam Bevier, or, you know. So, like, Thurman's definitely guarding their best big man. Adam's definitely guarding one of their best big man. And Jared's guarding, if not their best, you know, guard, their second best guard. And then, you know, it's still a little different for each one of those people.
Yeah,
and I think Adam, you know, can guard, if not 1 through 5, 2 through 5. You know, he's maybe not the quickest on his feet, but he can put his body in the right position. So, and same for Thurman. So,
yeah, I just know that every game. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I don't know, Josh. I mean, I think every game Josh is getting, you know, maybe the toughest.
Yeah.
Either the first or the second toughest assignment every game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he definitely is. He definitely is.
Regardless of position, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Rookie of the season. Now we have a few good rookies. We have Alec Gregg, who's averaging 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Did get traded for walking off a game. So I don't know if that would have any impact on the rookie of the season decision. But you also have Goose, who's really showing out. He averages 15 points, 11 boards. And then Caden Blanco, who is a little inconsistent, but you know, you can always count on him if he's open to make an open shot. And when he catches fire, you know, he goes. He excuse me, he averaged 14 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 assists on the season, coming in as a rookie. And I believe he was drafted pretty late. I want to say either round 7 or 8. Or no, I think it was 7. I think it was 7. Yeah, it was 7. I'm pretty sure. So I mean, to be drafted that low and to put up those type of numbers, that's pretty impressive. Is there a different person I'm not really thinking of that might slide into those top 3 rookie of the season candidates?
Yeah, I would say I would put Kurt Meyer up there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, man, last half of the season, dude's hitting like 4 or 5 threes every game.
Yeah.
So, and he's guarding. He's always. He just with the way our team's set up. He basically has to start. He has to guard the big. He's been doing great for us.
Yeah,
so,
these last few games, he's caught fire.
Yeah.
Dude's been hitting.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really helped you guys out quite a bit. You've been needing someone the whole season to step up, and he's really filled that void. So that's a good pick for sure. Anything else on those awards right there? Anything else you want to say? I mean, you mentioned a Liberty guy for each one of those. I want to assume you're not biased at all.
I don't know, man. Tell me what I see. That's what I see.
All right, fair enough. We'll move on here. Now I want to kind of recap some of or all of season 6, and when I recap season 6, there's a couple things I want to touch on and recap. One of them being the GMs. I want to talk about a few of the GMs and how they've done this season. We had.
Hey, hold on. I would even put Braden in that. I'm just saying, for rookie.
Rookie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
He did have a pretty good game last game.
He did. I mean, that's why we pulled that game out.
Yeah.
Big 3 after big 3 after big 3.
I mean, taking the whole season into account, you.
He kind of had a slow start, but
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. It's your unbiased opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, yeah, I just want to talk about the GMs a little bit. We had 4 new GMs, and the other half were GMs for a while now. The 4 new ones: Matt Ayers.
Actually, is Alec a rookie?
Yeah, he's a rookie.
Because he played, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't in the league. I mean, he played, but yeah. No, this is his first full rookie season. Yeah. Okay. The 4 new GMs that we had this season was Matt Ayers, Dylan Semler, Dylan Davis, and Michael Bennett.
Matt was a GM, right?
Matt Ayers was a GM. It was Mike Flipsy. That's who it was. Mike Flipsy, Mike Bennett, Dylan Davis, Dylan Semler. So did we have 5?
10.
Yeah, so we had 5 new GMs.
Well, 4.
No, because Mike Flipsy wasn't a GM either.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we had 5 new GMs. Martin Glasper doing the best statistically out of all of them. At least when you're talking about the team, his team went 6-2. Got the 2nd seed overall. Biggest thing I noticed, I wrote down each GM, and I wrote down what they the highlights of their season, what they did throughout the season. And I noticed that the people with, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, with the most activity throughout the season haven't done so hot. And the people with the less activity have done better. And I think maybe that has something to do with kind of working through the kinks, learning how to play with each other, and building that bond that it's hard to do when you're always making a trade. You're always trying to fit in new pieces. You're always trying to mix together something and hope that it works out instead of, working it out and trying to make the best product out of what you have. So Jalen, the only trade that you really had this season was on draft day. You traded the 1st overall and the 16th overall to Matt Ayers and the 419ers for the 3rd overall and 14th overall. You got Josh with that pick, and I think you won that draft or that pick ultimately. Even though I don't think, I think ultimately you did win that draft. And then you had Matt Ayers, who not only had that draft day trade with you, but he also picked up Malik Osborne as a free agent, big pickup. And he had a trade with the Wolves. He sent Pat Hackney and a season 7 first round pick to the Wolves for Cam Hemphill and a 5th round pick.
That's crazy.
Crazy, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I told Matt that too.
Yep. But you think he plans on keeping Cam then? Like, that's a pretty
Plans
big.
on keeping Cam?
Yeah, I mean, you're trading a first round pick for him.
I don't know. I really don't know what. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's thinking with that.
Cam's definitely not a bad player. And
it's just trading the first round for a 5th.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are 5-3 ultimately, though. So he's doing something right. He's playing pretty hot. He's learning how to get Malik into the right spots, and I think he does a pretty good job of coaching that team. Getting people in the right spots, and he just led them to a 5-3 record. So Dylan Davis, he started off really cold, lost his first 4 games, won his last 4, and then he did end up making a trade with the Wolves. The Wolves have been everywhere this season. They've been making a hell of a lot of trades. But they made a trade with the Wolves. Jake Schwiefert and Tyler Alt for Goose and Andy Robinson. I think ultimately this worked out for both teams.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, this definitely worked out for both teams. Jake Schwiefert. So the week after they got traded, or the week before. Yeah, the week after they got traded, they played each other, the Wolves and that was the Vandals. I'm talking about the Wolves and the Mustangs. They ended up playing each other in a trade that the Wolves made again with the Mustangs. But no, yeah, Goose has definitely been showing out. I talked about him a little bit as a potential rookie of the season candidate. It's been fun having him in the league. He's brought a lot of excitement, energy, athleticism to the league. So it's definitely fun watching him on the court, and hopefully he'll have an even better sophomore year. But this is definitely a good trade, I thought, for both teams. Definitely helped them out both. Definitely helped out both of them. And then you had Michael Bennett, who had 3 trades this season. One with the Vandals, who I already talked about. One with the 409ers, I already talked about. And then he had one with the Wolves, or then one with the Mustangs. He traded away Tim Harris and Jake Schwiefert again, who got put on the move twice this season. And then he traded them for Alec Gregg and Cameron Hemphill. So, they ended up 3-5 after all these trades. You make a trade to get better, but it seems like these trades have taken him the wrong way, taken the Wolves the wrong way. Do you think that's, like I said, the people that traded less seem to be doing better? Is this a trend that you notice as well as me? Am I kind of imagining things, or do you think that trading so many times in a season had something to do with a 3-5 record?
I mean, it could also just be, they needed to do that anyway. So it was just, maybe they would have had, they could have been worse off anyway. But I don't know. I do think there definitely is something because when when the season first starts, at least on my teams, everyone is just, super excited. Everyone's in it. So I feel like, it gets kind of hard. You're super pumped to play for this group of guys, and then you get traded. It's like we want to make trades because it's realistic, but it's dang, you actually have to trade someone. It's
right,
man, I just got traded,
right?
And now you have to bring that same energy to a totally new new group of guys. So I feel like I feel like it definitely has something to do with that. But and maybe it's just because you look at the Vandals, they only had one trade, right?
Yeah, the Vandals had one trade
And
with the
so
Wolves.
it's like they started 0-4,
Yeah.
you know, and they won 4 straight because, you know, I wouldn't say that, like, on paper, I wouldn't say on paper they're like a top team, but they won 4 straight. You know, they
Right.
just figured out, like, the right way to play with, you know, what they have.
Right.
So I think it's just hard to do that when you got guys just in and out.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you had Mike Flipsy, the Mustangs, had that trade with the Wolves. They're a decent team. They really are. I think a lot of people overlook the Mustangs, and you know I had them to pick the Pistons a couple weeks ago. I picked them to beat the Pistons a couple weeks ago. Ended up Pistons walked all over them. But you know this season's really hard to judge. But I think overall Mike Flipsy's done a really good job with the Mustangs. You know he's a good leader, but then you have Martin Glasper, who we talked about. What a leader he is, you know, he shows it on the court. And then Jake Schmeltz, he's a little quieter.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes.
he gets pumped.
Sometimes he hits those threes and looks up at me.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, no man, he's he's electric too. Once he hits, he'll hit from deep. You know, he'll pull up from deep and hit it and get on a hot streak. So I think all of these GMs have really done a pretty good job. Yeah, I mean, Martin might be my favorite GM this season. You know, I think he definitely did the best. So, good job to all these GMs, especially Martin. Man, you know, it was good to see you lead this team to a 6-2 record, and really looking forward to seeing you in the championship game.
That's fine. He's not on our side. That's fine.
I also want to talk to you. One of the last things I want to touch on here is this. Okay, so not only are you the GM of the Liberty, but you are also the co-founder of the LBL. So you have 2 different points of view. I think you can take on this. I think this might be the most tightly contested season that we've had through 6 seasons in the LBL. We've seen teams, the last 2 seasons especially, be the front runners, and kind of had all the other teams knew who was at the top and was gunning for them. And I think that would create a fun atmosphere because everyone wanted to take down the top dog. This season, it's kind of a weird feeling. Everybody is neck and neck. I mean, you do have the couple teams that pulled away a little bit, but man, it's a toss-up almost every single game. You don't know who's going to win, who's going to show up specifically for each team. So it's like, it's really sometimes you end up with at the end of the week like scratching your head, like what the heck just happened. Is this a good thing for the league that everybody is just so tightly contested and you don't know who's going to win week by week?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think it is. You look at especially the last 2 seasons. With the Kings, it's like I think they might have been undefeated. Or no, they were undefeated 2 seasons ago. But I think. Oh wait, no. I don't know. Whatever.
We need JB back on the podcast. Where you at, JB?
Yeah, but it was kind of. I felt like for the bottom half of the league, probably those seasons. I'm sure some of those guys were just like, well, we already know. Especially, I think it was season. Was it 4?
The Lions with.
Season 4. The Kings had. It was season 4. Yeah, season 4 they had JB and Malik and TJ, Terrell, Thurman, that team was crazy.
And before that, it was season 3. It was the Lions who had Jake Schmeltz, JB, Malik.
No, they didn't have Malik.
They didn't have Malik?
No. But they had Mike,
Flipsy,
Fakeosh.
Yeah.
I will say those season. Well, yeah. Okay, whatever. But, no, I would say it's good. It's just every week, everyone's excited. Everyone believes that they have a chance. So I think Yeah, it's good for everybody because you really don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good for everybody as in the team. What do you think about as a co-founder? How do you see that? How do you see that working out in the LBL? Do you like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that that just makes everyone everyone happier. I think.
Yeah.
If everyone, because everyone pays to be in this, so I mean, if you paid your money and then you got to play for 8 weeks and knowing that it's like, dang, do we even have a chance? Or like,
right.
We're one of the worst teams. It's like, what's the point? There's no one, it gets competitive. Obviously, everyone wants to win. So if you're coming in every week and you're, it's like you don't even feel like you have a chance.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for everybody.
Yeah. So then we talked about, does this make the season good, being tightly contested? But what really makes a season good? Is it that everybody is just really close? Like everyone is you never know who's going to win week to week? Or is it maybe the camaraderie amongst your team, the getting together with those 8 guys every week and, having fun? Is it just purely basketball, just people coming together and playing basketball every week? What really makes a season as fun as it could be? I mean, or maybe a combination of all of them. I don't know.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think especially for my team, I mean, we want to win more than anything. But like, I would say it even goes beyond that for this team, especially for our team, our season. Like, man, we have a great time every week. Like, everyone's texting each other every week. Like, yeah, I mean, we're just happy we get to do it. And I think, yeah, there's definitely like the camaraderie aspect of it. I mean, that's definitely huge.
Yeah.
It's not like anything else. It's not like it's different from a YMCA league, a rec league or anything like that. And I think that, yeah, I think that's why there's always so much energy in the league.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's going to be the last thing I really want to talk about. I do want to touch on some news, some ideas, some of the things maybe in the future. I've mentioned them still a couple times, so I just want to mention again. I want to keep talking about it, keep bringing it to everyone's attention. Let's start with the refs. We love the refs that we have. We support our refs. You guys are the one that that pays them every week. And it's hard. It's a little hard to find some refs, especially in a men's league like this. Men tend to get pretty aggressive. We tend to get mean, competitive, and the refs don't like being called names and whatnot. So it's hard to find refs that are willing to take all that backlash. That's one thing that we know we are always trying to improve on. Is getting the refs to where they need to be, understanding the league and how it needs to be coached or how it needs to be reffed. We're always looking to improve on the refs. We always talk to the refs on how they can do better, on what we can do to help them out, and all the ideas from the players and the GMs that we get. We definitely mention to them. We try to, we really try to do as best as we can and bring you the best that we can. Give me 1 second. We'll be right back with you. All right, sorry about that. We're back. The refs. We're definitely gonna try to do better there. And then also next season, something to look forward to. We were debating on releasing it this season. But I think it'd be a good idea just to wait a little bit, give everybody something to anticipate, another thing to anticipate, which is Twitter handles for each individual team that the GMs will be running. So next season, we're going to implement that, try to build a little fandom, try to get your family involved a little bit. Also, we are still looking for that second place. Let us know your ideas. And this season has come to an end. This regular season has come to an end. Season 7 is going to be coming up here soon. So tell all your friends about us for Season 7. It's going to be happening approximately a month after the championship game. And tell them to go to lbllegends.com. Up in the top right-hand corner, there's a drop-down. Hit apply and send us over one of your applications. That way we can get in contact with you, tell you exactly what the dates are for the next season's combine and draft. Make sure they get all the details, all that stuff. Spread the word. That's how we've grown so much, is through word of mouth. So, let everyone know. Anything else I need to mention? Anything that you want to talk about, mention? Being the GM of the Liberty or the co-founder of the league. Anything you want to say?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah?
I think that's pretty much it, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Jalen, for coming on the show. He's the guy behind the camera
Thanks
most
for having
weeks.
Me. You didn't want me on. I was trying to get on. And
No, I wanted you on, but we have people waiting. There's a list, and he's got to fall. He's got to fall in line. So Matt Ayers was backed out, and we were able.
I was second choice.
Yeah, well, second choice, like the MVP race. Ooh,
that's not what you said.
Ooh, no, you're right. It's not what I said. But anyway. Enough shade's been thrown. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of On Record. We'll be back next week to let you know who the MVP, Defensive Player of the Season, and Rookie of the Year is, or Rookie of the Season. I got to stop saying year. We don't do these by years. We do them by seasons. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Chad Clayman, Jalen Myers, out.